someone asks you, "Are you okay?" and you automatically say, "Yeah, I'm fine," even when you're not. Maybe you're stressed, maybe you're exhausted, maybe something happened that hurt you. Maybe you're worried about your future, but instead of explaining, you smile and say, "I'm fine." Why do we do that? Why is it sometimes easier to pretend we're okay than to admit that we're struggling? The answer has a lot to do with how humans learn to protect themselves emotionally. From a young age, many of us learn which emotions are acceptable and which ones aren't. A child cries and someone says, "Don't cry." A child is scared and hears, "Be brave." A child gets upset and is told, "It's not a big deal." The message isn't always intentional, but over time, we can start learning that certain emotions should be hidden. So when we grow up, we become very good at saying, "I'm okay," even when we're not. And sometimes we don't even realize we're doing it. We automatically hide what we're feeling, not because we're dishonest, but because we've learned that hiding emotions feels safer. Think about a normal conversation. Someone asks, "How are you?" You don't usually stop and examine your emotional state. You simply answer, "Good, I'm fine, all good." It's almost automatic. And sometimes that's completely normal. You don't need to explain your entire life to everyone who asks how you are. But there are moments when "I'm fine" becomes a mask, a way of avoiding a conversation you don't know how to have. Maybe you're afraid the other person won't understand. Maybe you don't want to become a burden. Maybe you don't want sympathy. Maybe you're worried that once you start talking, you won't know how to stop. So you stay quiet, you smile, you continue working, and you tell everyone you're fine. But emotions don't simply disappear because we ignore them. They often show up in other ways. You become unusually irritated. You lose patience over small things. You can't concentrate. You feel exhausted even after resting. You stop enjoying things you normally enjoy. You become distant without knowing why. Sometimes what looks like anger is actually hurt. What looks like laziness may actually be emotional exhaustion. What looks like being quiet may actually be someone struggling to explain what they're feeling. This is why emotional awareness matters. If you don't understand what you're feeling, you can't communicate it clearly. And if you can't communicate it, other people may not know how to support you. But there's another reason people hide their emotions. They don't want to look weak. We've often been taught that strength means handling everything alone. Don't complain, don't cry, don't show fear, keep going, be strong. And there is value in resilience. But resilience doesn't mean pretending nothing hurts. Being strong doesn't mean never needing anyone. In fact, sometimes strength is being honest about what you're experiencing. Imagine carrying a heavy bag everywhere you go. At first, you manage it. You tell yourself it's fine. After a while, your shoulders start hurting. But instead of putting the bag down, you simply get better at pretending it isn't heavy. That's what emotional suppression can feel like. The weight is still there, you're just hiding it. And eventually, something gives. This is why small things can sometimes trigger very big emotional reactions. You may think, "I can't believe that tiny thing made me so angry." But maybe the tiny thing wasn't the real problem. It was simply the final drop after weeks or months of carrying everything quietly. That's why sometimes someone suddenly breaks down over something that seems insignificant. The emotion isn't necessarily about that one moment. It's everything that came before it. The stress, the pressure, the disappointment, the loneliness, the things they never said. All of it can build up. And that's why learning to acknowledge emotions early can be healthier than waiting until they become overwhelming. But here's something important. Being emotionally honest doesn't mean telling everyone everything. You don't owe your deepest feelings to every person who asks, "How are you?" Emotional boundaries matter too. The goal isn't to become completely open with everyone. The goal is to have At least a few people with whom you can be honest. People you trust. People who don't make you feel ashamed for having emotions. Because humans need connection. Sometimes we don't need someone to solve our problems. We simply need someone to listen.